Hello YouTube and valued viewers, Byron at Splitting Slices. Welcome back to the Knife and EDC channel. Today is the second of 10 knives in 10 straight days for about a 10-minute discussion. This is an open tag started by Tobias Gibson over at Knife Chats with Tobias. And today we're going to do the second knife. We're going to take a look at another Rosecraft Blades. Now this is a new release of an older model, and it's model number 10. It's the Loosahatchie Jack, but this knife should be in the Dapper Brown Jigged Bone scales. Let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to open it up. It comes in the new packaging this year. We went over this yesterday, so I'm not going to repeat, but let's just say these knives, even though they are made overseas in China, they are hand fit, finished, and machined and jigged, and they are traditional pocket knives. Let's go ahead and get into the box. Of course, all these Rosecraft knives come in a foam inserted box and then are wrapped with a gift paper, almost a waxed butcher type paper, but here we go. This is the second of two configurations that this knife was released in its version 2. This one is the Dapper Brown Bone jigged, and just take a look at the coloring on this. Very similar as far as coloring to, I would call, the Case Amber Jigged Bone, which is one of their most popular models. But I'll tell you what, this knife, the jigging varies and the color of the die varies from model to model. I want to say this is like the 4th or 5th model now that has come in this pattern, and I just dig the colors. A little bit of variation from model to model, sometimes a little bit darker brown dyeing on that bone, sometimes a little lighter, and then you have the darker deep jigged bone, but hand jigged just looks fantastic. I love the variation in the coloring. I love the lighter yellow appearance, and then more of the bourbon orange or bourbon brown colored, and then that deeper dark brown in this. Now sometimes this will get as dark as almost a black coloring. So there you go. See, we turn it over and it's got completely different characteristics as far as the finishing, okay, or the torch work, quite frankly, on the jigging. So look at that, exceptionally a dark brown, almost black in the coloring on this side. But if we turn it over, we got a nice caramel colored brown on this side. I dig that. I love when there's a little bit of variation from scale to scale. It makes it unique. So here you go, the Loosahatchie Jack. I want to say Louisiana or something to that effect. It's the Loosahatchie Jack. Single fluted bolster, rosebud shield, both nickel silver in color. We've got brass pins, 4-pin construction. All right, we'll turn it over to the pile side. Boy, look at that dark jigging on that. And I love the pattern on this. Let's go ahead and turn it up. Now, the scales on this one are not as thick as some of the previous Dapper, but they are thicker scales in relation to some of the other patterns. Now, these are definitely thicker scales than that dragon scale smooth bone we looked at yesterday. Now, of course, it did have the scale jigging, but the slabs were not near as thick as this one. This is almost twice as thick, each slab of jigged bone on this version as opposed to the dragon scale. Still 14C 28N canted clip point with a slight recurve back to the tang of the blade. Let's go ahead and open that up. Same, I would call it 3.5 to 4.5 out of 10 pull on that. So really good for somebody with a little bit of arthritis to be able to actuate and get that blade open. Of course, we've got about a 2.9 inch long canted clip point blade with a fuller nail nick going out halfway down the spine, and then a sharp clip down to that tip. swedged all the way back from the fuller nail nick to the tip, and then that bellied clip point blade with a slight recurve back to the tang. About a 2.5 inch cutting edge on that, almost 3 inches of blade, and a 3.5 inch knife handle, including that single head fluted bolster. 14C28N steel, nice budget, tough, and corrosion resistant steel. Of course, we got the Rosecraft Blades stamp on this side. We have the model number with 14C28N steel and China as the country of manufacture. Again, of course, this is a American-owned company headquartered out of Tennessee. So just a really nice looking version of the Loosahatchie Jack. I did it again, pardon me folks. But just a nice looking knife. And again, one of my highest recommended Rosecraft blades if you're just getting into collecting knives or into collecting Rosecraft blades, want to try one out to see if you might like the brand. I can't think of a better knife other than maybe the Loosahatchie Jack with that spear point blade. A little bit bigger and longer knife blade, longer handle. Taking a look at the back spring and the integral bolster frame design. No gaps, just a slight line there at the bolster, but no gaps whatsoever in this. There never are. There never are with Rosecrafts. Always manufactured. Nice stop pin down there you can see. And again, those little bit thicker slabs make it a little more thicker in the hand, which is why I like this one a little better. I like this Dapper Brown Jigged Bone scales, both for the color and the fact that it adds a little bit thicker grip in the hand. Makes a really perfect fifth pocket carry in a nice utility blade shape. You can do those penetrative cuts that you need if you got to do a little pokey stabby. You've got that nice bellied spear to make your draw cuts. Of course, you always want to be careful doing a push cut with a slip joint, especially this one with a little bit lighter pull. Want to make sure you're making slicing pull cuts with this knife. We got the rosebud shield, nickel silver on that color. Of course, nickel silver stainless steel frame and spring. Yeah, just a really nice looking, great feeling, nice grip, and just a beautiful contrast on the colors on these two scales. It's what I like about natural bone scales. Every one is unique, both in the way that that particular scale accepts dye for coloring, how it accepts the torching, to brown it up. And again, look at the difference between this side with that beautiful amber bone and yellow and bourbon brown, and then we turn it over here and we almost go to black on that deep jigging and torching of these scales. Just a spectacular looking knife. I love it. All right, guys. Well, again, I can't recommend this particular model enough. The Loosahatchie Jack. It comes in several different configurations now. I think it's been released in the green or the moss brown bone is what I think they call it. It's been released in a I believe a barnboard jigged version. You've got the dragon scale version we looked at yesterday, and now we've got this Dapper Brown Bone that can again go anywhere from an amber to a yellow to an orange, almost to a black in the coloring and torching of this bone. All right, well, folks, that's going to do it for me. I think I've talked this one up just about as much as I can. Just a beautiful sample on this one. And I'm sure there's some others out there that you could own as well. You're going to have to look for them because I do think many dealers sold out of both the Dragon Scale and the Dapper Brown version, but I'm sure you can find them at dealers. So take a look at it. Folks, that's going to do it for me, Byron at Splitting Slices, saying split a slice with a friend soon. Please check in tomorrow for our round 3 out of 10 on 10 knives for 10 days at 10 minutes. And that's going to do it for me. Split a slice with a friend soon, and until the next one, take care.